I'm Melissa.
I'm Carole Griffin.
Carole Griffin, Melissa Kendrick from Sojourns. And you own Continental Bakery and Chez, Lulu, and you're pretty much an empire.
That's right, I am an empire.
You
because
are.
I've opened a new business downtown.
Which I'm so excited about since I'm downtown. I get to walk over there and have breakfast. And
Yeah, we're really close, aren't we?
yeah, because you're 4th and 19.
Yeah.
First, how long have you had Continental Bakery?
I have had Continental Bakery for 30 years this year.
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
You're not old enough to have Continental
I know,
Bakery for 30 years.
I started it when I was 12.
Okay, that makes sense. Child prodigy, I get it.
Hey, I was wondering, first of all, is that from your store?
Of course it is.
Yeah, tell me about it, because
It
I really
is.
think it's beautiful.
I love these. It's one of my new favorite items. They're actually cloth-covered beads.
Mm-hmm.
It's Cantha cloth from India.
I didn't have glasses to see it, but...
Cantha is usually, they take any kind of material, usually cotton-based, and then they add stitching to it. It's not quite an embroidery, it's just a little line of stitching. But these are the leftover remnants, because they don't waste a piece.
Yeah,
It just amazes me. I mean, the ingenuity and just the mindfulness of resources that the artisan brings out. But yeah, this is Cantha cloth covered beads from India.
Yeah.
Great.
Where are you from? I mean, where are you from?
Mars, darling, Mars. We're on 3rd Avenue North between 20th and 21st, so just, block over, block down. It's easy to get to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it made it really easy, and I wanted to say thanks again for stepping up on Fashionably Fair and offering this space. Because when Meg and I started bouncing the idea around about having a fair trade fashion show and using it as a fundraiser for Rave Response, we're like, okay, now where do we do it? And then she calls me back the next day and goes, Carole's offered Continental Bakery. I was all like, I love it when things come together, but...
I was so excited that we could do that because, of course, Meg is one of my favorite people. Meg McGlamory, who's the director of Crisis Center.
Exactly.
Crisis Center is such a cool organization, but then in partnership with your organization, it was just such an honor to be a part of it.
I was excited how well it came together, the fact that we sold out tickets and people really jumped on board. But I threw the idea out on Facebook and tagged Meg. And by the end of the day, we had 80 responses of people suggesting ideas and offering to help. And, it really came together. And as I started talking with Meg and learning so much about the Crisis Center, it just made it that much more meaningful. So thank you for jumping in and being part of that.
It was a pleasure. And it's cool to sort of be able to partner. Not only, I love downtown. And I think we've been trying for the last 10 years to try to find a way to get downtown because I love the city center and I love supporting just the revitalization. But now I feel like I'm supporting it, but I'm also part of just sitting on the crest of the wave of this beautiful thing that's happening downtown.
It's very exciting.
And one thing I was thinking is just you and I are two females downtown, two female business owners, and that has its own sort of significance,
Very much so.
Have you experienced that?
Well, it's interesting because Sojourns has been downtown. We're coming up on our 9th anniversary, which is just hard for me to believe.
Wow,
but
congratulations.
When I moved downtown, and I opened the store downtown rather, I had been living in DC and Paris for the previous decade and a half.
What?
I moved back to Birmingham. Prodigal daughter came home, and I wanted to open the business, and I was looking around, and something just drew me to downtown, and I felt like it was revitalizing, and we opened the store, and then of course the economy tanked, and a lot of the loft developments, stalled. And I was thinking, what have I done? And people would ask me, why are you downtown? And now they come in the store and they're like, you're so smart for being downtown.
Yay, cool.
So, there was a couple of years there where it was tough, but with the opening of Railroad Park and Regent's Ballpark and more businesses coming down, and the restaurant business is what is driving downtown revitalization right now.
I think that's a big part of it.
It really is, because people will come, and I'm excited about all the things that are happening between the Lyric restoration and I'm actually, and I want to get together with you at another point in time, I've always wanted to open a global cafe, maybe international market, a la DeKalb International Market. And we've actually set it up as a co-op, and we want it to be community owned. But that's not my forte, restaurants and the food side of things. So I'd love to get a group of folks together and talk about, is this something that could happen in Birmingham? How do we make it happen? Because that's not That's not my thing.
Well, you know what's so funny is that we are just in the process of planning. I mean, I think we're sort of on the same page because we're planning. It's an event we've started doing for the last few years. About 5 years ago, I had sort of a real challenging winter and was facing hardship and came into spring and really had this revelation about sort of letting the old go and letting fears go and limitations and really embracing spring and wanting to do something sort of, I guess, like some kind of enactment of this sort of transformation that was happening in me. So we decided to do this really nutty little festival called Spring-a-ling-a-Ding-Dong. Have you ever heard of it?
I haven't. I'm sorry, I haven't. It sounds fabulous.
It's called Spring-a-ling-a-Ding-Dong.
I love it.
But it is sort of a funny, fun. It's supposed to be, about freedom, about embracing the future and embracing the unknown, about being creative, and about rebirth, basically.
Nice.
Spring resurrection.
Oh, as a small business owner, I get the whole yourself and always change and always grow.
So we're doing it downtown this year because this is the leading edge of our growth right now. Because we're in the theater district, and it turns out it fits perfectly because what we do is we reenact the beheading of Marie Antoinette. Sort of, if you've been in Paris, you know. There's these village festivals that happen all over Europe that sort of embrace the change of seasons and try to enact a certain sort of, transformation, death, and resurrection. So we encapsulated that in the beheading of Marie Antoinette. And she comes in as the...
Because of course, that's the obvious connection.
Yeah, right, okay. Because we're a French bakery. Marie Antoinette was obvious. I don't even know how that came about, but... So we decided that we would reenact her beheading. She comes in as sort of the wintry maiden, and then we behead her, and her head's on a bier, and we take off her wig and her mask, we accuse her of the crimes of the last year, like the unseasonable weather or whatever, the plague that's been in, whatever sort of challenges we've had over the last year. And then we take off all her terribly dire, mean things about her, and we take them off, and she emerges as the Spring Queen. Nice. And then she leads a parade. We have giant puppets that represent different things about spring, a giant puppet parade through the streets, and she ends up coming out from under the bier, unmasks the Spring Queen and leads the dancer on the maypole. So we're going to do that on May 10th, along with his bike parade.
Yeah, Stampala's bike.
So it's two parades. There's going to be a bike parade, and then directly after that, the beheading. But I was thinking you should come down and offer some of your, things on the street, because really it's about, we're trying to say, step out of your isolation and, because we've worked together. I think that would be really cool if you would come bring some stuff to sell on the streets.
We'd love that, because Dan and I have been talking about how Sojourns could be involved, and I guess they're going to have something set up around outside McWayne Center, because I've got tons of tents and tables because of the street fair. Yeah. The International Street Fair is done by the Birmingham Multicultural Association, and I'm the board chair.
Tell me about that.
Well, I grew up in Birmingham with the International Festival, and you know, every year there was that big festival at Balboa Center, Balboa Auditorium.
I love that. That was my favorite thing when I was growing up.
And when Sojourns opened, we were co-housed with the Birmingham International Center, which is the transformation of festival into International Center. And they kept trying to get them to bring the International Street Fair back, but they've kind of gone in a different direction. So I started the Birmingham Multicultural Association to sort of highlight, because my store focuses on international and other countries, but I also wanted to focus on the multiculturalism that's right here in our city. And Birmingham is a hugely multicultural city. People don't realize it. So that's what the street fair is about, is celebrating the diversity in our city. We've had Zulu dancers and West African dancers and Chinese fan dancers and mariachi bands and, you know, John Scalisi comes out and does drum circles.
John's gonna play.
Good, yeah. But everybody at the street fair that performs, from the Zulu dancers to the Chinese fan dancers, are from Birmingham.
Yeah.
So it's highlighting all the differences and diversity and the nuances that create our city.
Wonderful.
So yeah, this will be the third year, but we've been slowly accumulating tents and tables and those kind of infrastructure things as we grow the street fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've told Stan he can use all of those because they're just sitting in a closet, and we as individuals who are making things happen in the city have got to support each other.
Yes, I agree.
We've got to bolster one another and do outreach for one another, and because there is so much happening, but there's still so much potential.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just amazed in the 10 years I've been back in Birmingham how much the city has grown. It's always had great food and music, but now it's even exponentially greater. And more festivals coming along, Cask and Drum, and I love the Spring-a-ling Ding Dong. But just...
Oh, the Red Mountain Theater Troupe is going to actually, because they're doing...
Are they doing the Marie Antoinette part of it?
They're doing La Cage aux Folles that during that period.
So
they're going to actually do the farcical enactment of the Marie Antoinette beheading also. It's on a big stage, we have a guillotine, and I mean the whole thing it's super, super exciting, funny, crazy.
Well, that is awesome because May 10th is International Fair Trade Day, so I had planned on doing something at the store with international food, and now this is going on, so I'm like calling in all my friends going, okay, you are volunteering and you're on call that day, so we're going to be out in force any way we can.
Are you in the theater district? Do you know?
I think so, because we're only 2 blocks from the Alabama Theater and the Lyric, but I really don't know what they consider theater district, and
I think those lines are still being sort of worked out.
Yeah, they're a little amorphous right now.
And I know definitely they've sort of expanded it to include, Carver Theater is, I think, on that edge of the theater.
It's
district.
18th.
Yeah, exactly. But also, what we want to do for fall, we do this thing called Fa-Lu-La-La.
Okay.
And
because you don't come up with just normal names things. I love that, Carole.
Spring-a-ling-a-ding-dong, Fa-Lu-La-La. But that's when we put the puppets to sleep, to bed. We sort of cloak them in white, and it's a night festival. And we want to do a kind of Take Back the Streets festival. So we make these beautiful paper lanterns, and we process through the street. It's another parade. I don't want to do anything if it doesn't involve a parade.
Life should always involve a parade.
Right.
Do you know when that's going to be?
We usually do that in late fall, so either early October or late September.
Okay, because the street fair is going to be September 13th, but we're only going to go till like 5 or 6 o'clock, and we're trying to decide with the city if we're going to make it a 2-day event. So I'm wondering if there's a way to
combine those
in there, take the momentum from the street fair and bring it back. Right now, we're going to take the street fair back to the park, so it's not a street fair, it's park fair.
Yeah.
But we're still so young as we're growing, but I eventually want to take it back to the streets. Matter of fact, my idea is to start at the Carver at 18th and 4th, and work our way down 4th to 19th, come up 19th to 3rd, go down 3rd, and then go to 21st, turn up 21st towards 2nd, and then end at Dawes House on 2nd. So we started at Carver and ended at Dawes House.
Yeah.
But we snake through the streets, so like this block might be Africa and this block's the Middle East, and then we turn and we go into Caribbean and we turn and go into Latin America. So every block is a different sort of region of the world.
Yeah.
That way the kids can have passports, so as they go from one part of the world to the other, they get their passports stamped.
I want us to be Morocco and Tunisia.
Okay.
So we can do couscous. I really want to do couscous out on the street.
Well, that would be perfect because that's about at 4th and 18th or 19th is where Africa would turn into the Middle East, so that'll be perfect.
Perfect, yeah. Okay.
But that's my goal. That's sort of this vision that I have. So, but I also want to do some kind of a parade or a parade of nations. So.
Well, I love the idea of doing something because people have traditionally, I think, unfairly characterized downtown as unsafe or whatever.
I know.
And I mean, I don't experience that at all. It's such a beautiful place to hang out. But so for us, I felt like we should, with lanterns, sort of just bless the path that we walk along and say, those Take Back the Night sort of walks where people say, we're here, we're out in the
That's a perfect thing to get the crisis center back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Right, I know. And anything to involve Meg McGlamory is a plus for me.
Absolutely, that always is the icing on the cake, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love it, but let me know how I can help and how we can support and
sure.
Even if it's just behind the scenes, letting people know about the event.
Oh no!
But if we can be out there cheering you on and letting people know about the downtown businesses. I'm next door to read books, and Jim and I are always back and forth going, you had customers today, or I've had a great day, or he comes over and gets chocolate, and I go over and get a book, and
Cool.
you know, and
he's great.
He's awesome. And so we're always trying to, you know, bolster each other. He comes in and goes, can you believe what somebody said to me? And
Yeah.
and I always get the, aren't you afraid to be down here? And I'm thinking, no.
Yeah.
I'm like looking around, and Cap is riding by on their bicycle, and I'm thinking, Birmingham is downtown, is so
it's
safe.
such a wonder to be able to walk around, for me to walk to all the restaurants that, when I was working on my space and we're converting it into this big theater. Have you been in my place? Oh yes, you have.
Yes, I
I'm
have.
crazy. Oh my gosh. Of course you have. We did that thing together, but it was funny that they put us together because I've known about you, but I haven't really gotten to meet you
Same here.
until 2 weeks ago, till we did that event together. But anyway, as you know, the theatrical curtains and all the lamps and red and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I saw the pictures online, and then Meg and I met over there to discuss. And you know, I've been in your other location, your original location of both Chez, Lulu, and Continental Bakery, and I walked in and I was all like, this is so not what it looked like when Mix was here, or even when Kathy G had a restaurant there.
It was a complete transformation, but I was so nervous because, we had this little village, kind of very crowded, kind of very European small space cafe.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came to this place, actually, our entire organization over there, the bakery, the kitchen, and the cafe, all together make up 3,000 square feet. This space downtown is 7,000 square feet.
I didn't realize it was that big. It's awesome.
And I walked into that space and looked around and thought, oh my goodness, how am I going to warm this up? And if I warm it up, will I lose the grandeur of it? And the thing that occurred to me was, I had a friend who said, well, that was Lulu in the Village. This is Lulu Comes to Paris.
Nice.
Isn't that cool?
That is
I had an
perfect.
idea. Suddenly I was like, oh, and Lulu Comes to Paris to the theater district.
Exactly.
And so we got those, long, beautiful velvet theater curtains, and we painted things gold.
Well, when I walked in, I immediately thought Moulin Rouge.
Yay!
It's what came to mind when I walked in, because where I lived in Paris was very close to the Moulin Rouge, and I got to go. And
Oh, you were in Pigalle? Is that? Oh, no, where is the Moulin? Is it? Oh, well, anyway.
I think it's in the fourth.
It's an exciting, colorful district.
It was, and I was just sort of across the district lines into the second. But
Good.
So I was in a safer area, but it's still very easy to walk to and accessible to get over to that way.
Cool, perfect.
And it was Paris was awesome.
How long were you there?
I spent my time there for 3.5 years. I was the U.S. delegate to UNESCO during Clinton Take Two.
Shut up!
Yeah.
How cool!
I know, I got a call from the president, which is a whole nother story, and I thought it was a complete joke. I kept calling him Bill. I thought it was a joke.
Bill,
Yes, Bill,
nice.
sure, no problem, Bill. And then I finally figured out it really is the president. It's completely mortifying and very an American president. But so I spent my time between DC and Paris for 3.5 years. So
Wow.
I bounced back and forth across the
Freaking
pond a lot. It was not
gosh.
my country called.
Do you speak French?
No.
Wow! You were there for 3 years? On and off, but you just didn't have that.
Well, when I was in UNESCO, you're always wearing headsets because you're dealing with so many official languages.
Sure.
And when I traveled, because a lot of my job was traveling, so sometimes, I was in Ukraine or Nicaragua or Burkina Faso, and so you've always got an interpreter with you. But I understand French. I don't speak it. I'm one of those people. I freeze up. I can do multiplication in my head. I can do wonderful math, but I can't speak a language. And I've got a friend who speaks 7 languages, but adds 2 + 2 and gets 5. I think all we need to do is plan another day to get together with McGlamory.
Yes. True.
And Stan and some other folks who are doing things downtown, and maybe that Bo guy who does photography. No, but seriously, there's so much that we need to talk about, and there's so much happening in Birmingham.
I just wish I could multiply myself times 8. But it's nice to meet somebody of like mind.
Well, that's
it's almost like multiplying yourself. There's so many cool things
between
to
the
do.
state fair and trying to get the global market off the ground, and then I do dog rescue, and I'm starting a community garden in Eastlake, and I'm like, my mother said something about, are you dating? And I was like, When? I don't have time for those kind of things, but everyone always asks me, they're like, I can't believe you work 6 days a week. I'm like, I don't work 6 days a week. I go to Sojourns 6 days a week. It's really different when you're doing what you're passionate about.
Yeah,
And I know that you're passionate about what you do and the things that you've got going on. So
my boyfriend said the other day, he said, I think you probably work about 70 hours a week.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I was so shocked that anybody would perceive that I work that much because I don't think about it that way. But yeah, I have the same thing. I really love what I do. I'm really lucky.
And it shows.
Sounds like you are too. Thank you.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing I've ever done, and I'd do it again in a minute.
Yeah.
Well, good. We have lots to talk about.
Yeah.
And we'll plan some wine dates at Continental Bakery and
As soon as we get a beer and wine license.
BYOB.
BYOB for now, for sure.
Sounds good.
Good. Well, just walk on over. I'll come see you too.
Sounds like a plan.